Welcome everyone. Today I have a special build guide for Diablo 4 Necromancer with a Thorns life-stealing build. Now looking behind me, I think we have an interesting build. So there are two variations to this build, and what I want to show you guys is the first variation. Notice I have tons of HP, always fortified and constantly getting barrier. And this build allows me to lifesteal, gain barrier, and also become super insanely durable in most of the content in the game. So basically what I'm testing is, I'm testing two variations of the build, and I'll show you guys the gears for this build very soon. And the highlight of course for this build is not gonna be the best tier 100 build because Thorns Necromancer is not there yet. But this can give you guys a good direction, and what I want to show you here is it is the ability to stand the AFK. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the event, I'm going to stand next to the event, and here you're going to see I'm going to just put on my basic gears. And I'll be standing here, I'm not using any special gears or anything, and this is just the starting part. So here what I'm doing is I'm going to stand for the entire duration of the event and not click any button. We're just going to stand there, let the minions do the work. Now because you have tons of Thorn and also the possibility of healing with life and also gaining more barrier with temerity, you're actually pretty durable. Now during the testing of this standing still test round, I did not have the best gears which allows me to do more damage and also more healing while I'm standing still. But the logic and the concept works. Yes, I did get very low in HP, but this is without the right gears, and I was able to do the entire event standing still. So if you want to play something that is less clicking and also more AFK, this can be potentially nice for you if you want to try the Necromancer with the Thorns and also lifesteal. So yes, I complete this event by standing still. I have the replay to show you guys, and let's come over to a little more replay and then we're going to the builds. Now actually I think it's probably better we come over to the actual build. So what I have done as usual is I have made my mobilities guide for this build, and in the guide I'm prepared you guys with one of the variations of the build. There is a second variation to adjustment to when you have uber unique items, and this is when this build really comes alive, when you have Endurer's Vestige and also the Doombringer. So this is the helmet I'm talking about, and also the Doombringer. So this particular helmet will allow you to steal lifesteal for 3% HP. And this particular sword allows you to have maximum life and also lots of damage. Those together with those two items, you can really lifesteal a lot, gain a lot of life and lots of barriers with temerity. But the first variation you're going to see for the build is we're not going to use any uber unique items. So here we're going to have lots of defensive capacities, reduce damage while, normal attack. We're going to have Razor Blade because that's the, the theme of the Thorns Necromancer, right? We are going to have ways of reflecting damage, and we'll deal more shadow damage because of that. Now this gloves is not the right one. I just used it because it had the legendary aspects. So when we're doing Decrypt and also Iron Maiden, we do 49% more shadow damage. Here with the pants we gain the armor, and also with the boots we gain more skeletons. With the weapon we'll deal more damage with minions, and also with the shield we'll gain additional barrier with Bone Storm. Notice those are not the perfect legendary rolls because I couldn't get the 5%. And yes, we'll use the unique ring of Medallion for this build just to gain a little more minion life, more Thorn, and also more burst damage. Finally, we'll turn Bone Storm into darkness spells, and also allows us to do more Shadow Blight damage. This is a mix of a Thorns Necromancer together with the Shadow minions. And the major focus is we're actually using the Skeleton Warriors, which allows us to inherit more Thorn up to 50%. And the Bone Golem is also inheriting the Thorn up to 50%. Now personally speaking, I have decided to not use the Skeleton Mages. Yes, they will do more shadow damage and have more shadow damage procs, but I feel like it's a little hassle to summon them because they die a lot, and I tend to have my tankiest minions just reflecting the Thorns damage. But if you guys want, you can still have the Necromancers as with the summons with the Shadow Mage, but I decided to take them away. Now I know I said a lot about the first alteration of the build, which you can see in the replays. Now this is in the replays, this is a slight adjustment if you want to go for AFK. If you're planning to go AFK, you do want some sort of healing, and healing when enemies are close by is really good. Ideally, you don't want to get the 34%, you want about 100 plus life per enemy around you, and together if you have temerity, you can build up a lot of barrier because of this. And finally, if you're standing still, make sure you get the increased damage by 30% while standing still to do an AFK build. Now, coming over to the fun part, yes, we have another alteration for the build. This is when you use the uber unique items. And yes, I have written some notes for you guys to have a look over here. For the uber unique items, if I put on Andrea's Vestige and I put on Doombringer, all of a sudden my life is over 15,000. And if I put on Temerity, with a combination of those 3 items, it gets very interesting. Now, because I won't have the increased armor with my pants, I'll be putting the armor onto my amulet. And finally, I'll take away the Ring of Madeline, and this will complete my build if I have the uber unique items. And this makes things interesting, right? So yes, you can build the Thorns Necromancer or the Shadow Minion Necromancer into the end game using those items. And this will make you more tanky, more durable, deals tons of Thorns damage, and also have tons of lifesteal. Now, in order to provide you guys with a demonstration, let's come over to this replay as I was testing the build and also testing different gears. So here I'll fast forward a little bit as I swap the gears. And once I got my gears up, what I want to show you guys is most of the fight, what I do is I just walk up in front of enemies and I'll be casting Decrypt and also Iron Maiden. I don't really need the channeling this part. So let me show you this part. So here, what we're doing is we're just walking in front of enemies, we're casting 2 curses and let them do the work. They will be hitting us. And when they hit us, the Iron Maiden will reflect damage. Together with the Thorns damage, now I don't think the Thorns damage will give us lifesteal, but Iron Maiden will. So this way, when you get lifesteal, your Andrea's Vestige will actually lifesteal, and overhealing will be converted into shield with Temerity. And this allows me to basically standing still. I try to not do any basic attack, I just stand still and run around. Now I have tried this one in higher level dungeons. After level 70 or tier 70 or tier 80 dungeons, you cannot consistently be this durable. So this build will be an early game to mid game build. For the late game guys, it will be a little difficult to be unkillable. So do keep in mind guys, this is not a tier 100 unkillable build, but this is extremely fun. I'm having a rest with my fingers, and if I'm helping my friends, doing Helltide, or just doing any of the overall events, this is actually really fun. Most of the time, I don't have to cast a spell, but when I do, they die really quickly. I mean, it is the case for most of the build, but this one, the fun part is constantly having maximum fortify, constantly having maximum barrier, lots of lifesteal, and you're doing most of the damage with the Thorns Necromancer, which is something I really wanted to do since the start of this patch. So just to show you guys a little more of the replay, you can see that we're constantly getting fortified, we're very durable, and here I'll quickly show you guys the tally up of our stats as we fight enemies. So here we're over 10,000 with barriers, we have tons of fortified, tons of life. And yes, this is extremely tanky and also very fun to play. So if you want to play something non-meta, and if you have the spare gears, and if you have the uber unique items, definitely give this a try. But do remember guys, this is not an in-game build. So before you invest your time and also respect into this one, do remember, this will be a fun Necromancer build. In the future, if we get more legendary aspects and more ways to do Thorns damage, this can be even stronger. Now finally, of course, let's briefly come over to the boss. The boss won't be too special, because ideally we need the boss to hit us. And sometimes we can do a burst damage like 1/3 of boss's HP. But if the boss is hitting us or something's not doing correctly, we don't deal the most damage because we are Thorns build. But if the boss is hitting us correctly and we're just standing still, we still does tons of damage. So this build will definitely give your finger a rest if you're clicking a lot with other builds. Now for most of my skills and also my paragons and also choice of the Vampire power, it's pretty straightforward. I'll just briefly go through them. And I am sacrificing my skeleton mages, and if you guys want, I have left a variety that you don't sacrifice them. But if you find the skeleton mages to be dying a lot, I still sacrifice them, so I'm only keeping the defenders and also the bone golem for my Thorns build. In terms of the Thorns build, you really want the 10% additional chance to deal 300 more damage, and also chill enemies is okay. This is the centerpiece for the Thorns build. Everything else is pretty straightforward. I'm trying to poke more lucky hit to give us more attack speed, but Revenants can definitely be replaced with anything else you guys want for your build to be more durable or maybe lowers your cooldowns with your ultimate. In terms of the skill tree, we are having the Rape, which allows us to get more corpses and also reduce our damage taking by 15%. we are getting 3 perks into spiked armor, which only gave us how much? It didn't give us too much. Little unfortunate, spike armor only gave us about 3,000, only 2,000 thought. Little underwhelming. We're only going with the skeleton warriors because they will be our defenders and tankers. We didn't go with the skeleton mages. Now we have perked in most of the points into the darkness spells to do a little more damage. And I'm not getting a lot of attack speed for my build because the goal is for enemies to hit us and die because of the thorn. Now in terms of the Paragon, it is a little not 100% well refined because what you're going to see is most of my glyphs are not level 15 because no, I haven't leveled them up to level 15, but I have perked it up so that if you guys are getting additional, let's say if you need willpower, right, the willpower is on the side. The moment I get more willpower on the side, I will be able to get 25 willpower. So this allows you to perk a little further for level 100, but I didn't get my glyphs to level 15. So I have the Paragon ready for you guys if you want to follow it, but do keep in mind guys, this is not the top meta. This is a no meta build for fun with the Thorns Necromancer for life stealing. Now finally, coming over to some skill rotations. It is very straightforward guys. If you're using the variation without uber unique items, or if you're using the uber unique items, you will be casting both of the debuff curses onto enemies. This is just because I wanted to be a little more reflective. Iron Maiden will allow us to reflect damage, and well, together with 2 of those spells will increase darkness spell damage, or shadow damage, right? And facing a lot of enemies, you can have a burst damage by casting your Bone Storm. This will enable you to deal damage on both of your golem and also yourself, and this does tons of damage in terms of burst damage. Most of the time, just debuff enemies and normal attack, and your minions should do most of the work. Now if you do find yourself a little weak after tier 60 or tier 70 with Nightmare Dungeons, do keep in mind guys, currently the Thorns Necromancer build is not designed for the top meta. It is a little unfortunate. I have been testing this build to try to make it stronger, but unfortunately it's just not on par with the top tier of the builds. So I'm still a work in progress, and when we get an updated build for the Thorns Necromancer, hopefully with more unique ways of making them stronger, I'll be updating this guide for you guys. And for those that is daring enough to try this build, I do have a challenge. See which of the part of the map or zone you can stand still and AFK, and what is your best build in terms of AFK with Necromancer. And let us know in the comments below. So during this testing run, I'll have the replay to you guys. I was standing still for the entirety of this event. I mean, I was losing a bit of HP, but with a better setup, I can definitely stand still even better.
not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I
Now, if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, non-meta builds, leveling up, and also Paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates, and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4.